need to keep our eye on this. The FBI is embarking on a $1 billion effort to build the world's largest computer database of people's physical characteristics. Now, this will allow them to identify people in the United States and abroad. They're going to spread that right out. Better to see you and track you. The FBI is building a $1 billion database of faces, fingerprints, and palm patterns. Again, FBI prepares vast database of biometrics.
What we want to add are some capabilities to collect and search palm prints. We don't have that capability right now, where a lot of local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and other countries have that capability. So we need to get up to speed on that. And what we'd like to be able to do too, as these other biometrics mature, we want to have a system that can allow those to be stored and searched as well, be it iris, facial, voice, whatever the biometric, that DNA, whatever the biometric that comes down the road, we need to be able to plug that in and play.
A Social Security card that can be forged for $40.
Right.
We propose that everybody, every American, citizen, legal immigrant, gets a non-forgeable employment card, a national employment card. It has a little chip in there that you can't forge that matches the retina of your eye.
Now,
every employer would have to swipe the card through a little machine like a credit card machine. When someone applied for a job, it would have their picture on it, of course. And if the computer said they're a citizen,
I got it.
or they're
I got it,
illegal,
Senator. I got it. I think I got it.
But here's the other part. If the employer doesn't swipe the card or hires him anyway, first time, a $50,000 fine. Second time, jail. It will cut illegal immigrants, and then the Baileys will be willing to accept lots of legal immigrants who we need in this country.
Well, I don't think there's much problem with Americans accepting legal immigrants.
Welcome back to the most news in the morning. The government taking a big new step, looking to build a huge database of people's physical characteristics. The FBI is taking on a $1 billion project to gather fingerprints, palm patterns, even digital pictures of faces. Eventually, it could expand to include iris patterns, face shape patterns, scars, even information about how you walk and talk. It's called biometrics, and it could change the face of law enforcement, but it's also causing a lot of controversy. American Morning's legal contributor Sunny Hostin joins us now. So we're talking about some incredible stuff like tracking the shape of your earlobe. So what is the FBI's goal in doing all of this?
Well, the goal is to have a comprehensive database to track terror suspects, criminals, that sort of thing. And I think it's a wonderful goal. We do want to sort of have that centralized database, but you have to be very careful, because what if the wrong person is in that database? And that is something that can follow you forever. Someone said, it was reported, said, if your credit card is stolen, you can get another credit card. If your eyeball print is stolen, you can't get another eyeball, and I think therein lies the problem here.
That's right, and it's going to be a while before this actually all comes into play, and they're calling it next generation biometrics. Even the name's complicated, but for those of us who aren't on terror watch lists like the two of us, I mean, do we
hopefully.
need to, hopefully, as far as we know. As far as we know, do we need to be concerned about this kind of thing?
I think so. I really think so. The ACLU and other groups are saying Big Brother is watching, but you do have to be careful. And it's interesting because a lot of this information is already in a database. I'm already in a database, having been a federal prosecutor and having security clearance. I'm already in that database. What the FBI wants to do is take that information and keep it. And that's the problem. And generally you can get access to it and ask for information that's on you, but in this situation you may not be able to get that information. So I think everyone does have to be careful.
All right. Legal contributor Sunny Hostin, we thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you a bit later on in the show.
Thank you.
Sunny, thanks.
And I hope that you're not on that terror watch list.
Oh, we don't know.
On the Patriot Act and the Real ID card. You voted against it. There are a few that join you. You've been outspoken against the Real ID and the Patriot Act. Why is that?
Well, because it undermines civil liberties, and the Real ID is a national ID card. A lot of conservatives supported the Real ID card because it was promoted as, that's how we're going to keep out the illegal aliens.
Right.
But once again, why register law-abiding American citizens if it's the illegals that are coming in or a terrorist coming in? Do you think they'll either use the law and obey the law or abide by it and get in, or just disapprove of it? But this Real ID, although it's done through the state driver's license, is really nationalized, and we're very fortunate. That's another example of how the people are waking up. Several states now have voted to reject this whole idea of accepting the national ID under threat that they will lose some government funding, federal government funding. So that is very encouraging. And but the Real ID is a national ID card. It means that eventually, if we let this go, we will be showing our papers for every single thing we do. And you know, some people say, "Oh no, we don't want a national ID card. We want to have just ID cards and all for the illegals."
Okay.
Yeah, but how do you do that? And what if you look like you might be an illegal? You better be able to prove you're not an illegal. So therefore, you have to have some type of a documentation. It's really just a lot of scare tactics. A lot of what government does, regardless of whether it's the overemphasis of the potential danger, say, of a Saddam Hussein or an Ahmadinejad, or potential terrorists, or poverty, or even environmental concerns. It's always scare the people, terrorize the people, and then they'll succumb to the government taking care of them. Right. And of course, that raises the question of the wisdom. Reminds us of the wisdom of Franklin, who said, if people start giving up their liberties for the sake of security, the ultimate result then is going to be that we'll have neither.